stay a while and listen.
And welcome to our return, the Agony of Positivity podcast. I can barely talk. I'm Ross. I am with, as pretty much always, Bacon Sticks.
Yes, Bacon Sticks. It's a good name.
I like that one has stuck for me for some reason, even though it's like 30 syllables long compared to just one syllable of Saul.
It's just because it's such a great name. That's why.
So, before we get into a whole lot, am I insane? Because you hear me rant about this all the time. Like, people trying to give nicknames to people, where, like, Saul, it's one syllable. Ross, it's one syllable. We work with a guy who, it's his quest to try to find a nickname for me, but he's wanting to have, like, 4 to 5 syllable nicknames. What is the likelihood of that ever, like, am I alone in thinking that that's never going to work when you can just call me my name is basically just a sound. It's not even a whole word.
Yeah, I don't understand. When he said that, I was like, no, okay. But he thinks differently than the rest of us that work at the company.
Right. Well, like, I mean, just in general, though, like, it'd have to be a pretty catchy or purposeful nickname before you're really going to stick to it. Like, I call you Bacon Sticks at the opening of the show because it's kind of funny. A little bit. Sure. But then it's... in the middle of the show, I'm not like, well, Bacon Sticks, what do you... Like, I'm never going to do that.
So
I don't think. Sticks, I might do it now, and eventually... but I'm just like, well, or I could just call him Saul. So I don't know. If anyone has strong opinions on that, someone else has to agree with me. You can always hit us up on the Twitter or something like that, because I'm kind of super curious. Like, one syllable name people seldom get a nickname that's multiple syllables.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, like you said, Ross. I mean, it's just how it is.
Yeah, it's easy. Yeah, that's what it's a name. It does what it's supposed to very well. It identifies you, and it's easy, just right there. So how's your week been? Or actually, how has, like, 3 weeks been? Because we missed... I guess I should kind of talk about that a little bit. We missed a couple weeks.
Yes.
Some things were going on. Miscommunication on my part, I think, was the reason last week. But still had some stuff going on. So, but nothing I would say, like, super terrible or anything. And then I tried to put up, like, a real brief episode. Just being like, hey, we're not going to have a show this week. And I tried so many times, and things kept airing out on me. Files got corrupted. And I was like, you know what? It's not meant to be. So we're just going to see what happens when we come back. But anyway, So your week. Sorry, but I feel maybe people would like to know, like, oh no, what happened?
Yes, nothing bad. The corona didn't get us or anything, so...
Again. Still going with I was pretty sick, so a long time ago, not now. Go back to like February or March, and you'll probably hear me talk about where I thought I was going to die.
Yeah, there's a couple times where I mean, I didn't really, like, I mean, and it could have been sinuses.
Right.
But Kroger's is offering those antibody tests, so I'm pretty excited about taking one of those. I've had it.
Yeah, to find out if you got the antibodies for it.
Yeah.
Well, and I think they're doing it. So Kroger's, I'm assuming Smith's and other parts of the country. Basically, it's like one of the grocery store chains that have like their pharmacy, and a lot of them have like the little clinic kind of deal inside it. But they're like $25, just cash, I think is what it was. Is that correct?
Yeah, like
right.
25.
Well, and it's like an on-demand thing, because I know one of the issues when I was sick is back then, I couldn't even get a test to find out if that is what I had, because I wasn't in the worrisome demographic. And it was like, well, I guess I'll just sit here on the chair and hope for the best because I'm not spending the money to go to the doctor otherwise.
Sure.
Also, I literally could not get up to drive myself there. So, and as sick as I was, I didn't want someone to take me.
Sure. Well, they couldn't do anything for you anyway. So
right. I've been like, well, just hope for the best. Be like, well, that's what I was going to do at home. So
sure.
I'll go back to having fever dreams of pastries.
But yeah, my week's been it's been okay. Actually, my past 3 weeks have been okay. I've not really had anything.
I've had
nothing exciting.
Minimal excitement. I picked up for my action figures, the very sophisticated ones, a Seth Rollins and a Roman Reigns. So I have a Shield trio now that I can use. They are currently feuding with the Ultimate Warrior, and Chris Jericho is my champion. So if anyone wanted an update to know what was going on, Miz is still on a tear. He just defeated old school purple gloved Undertaker in a tables match. So since the WWE doesn't want to do anything with the Miz in my toy federation of fidgeting while I play Hearthstone games, I will do something with him and make him a champion eventually.
That's because the Miz is a very boring character, Ross. I hate to tell you.
The more important thing is I'm having a lot of fun playing with my toys. So
sure.
Which I'm pretty sure from a psychological standpoint, it's probably from a poor childhood where I'm trying to relive or try to enjoy things that I missed out on to some degree. But I don't know. Like, I'm not going to go to a therapist about it, but I'm pretty sure that's what they would tell me.
Possible.
Or I just enjoy having fun with certain things when I can, and that's an enjoyable thing. And I don't have children, so I don't have to share my toys. So I'm not going to wake up and something like Optimus Prime isn't going to randomly be broken one day.
Sure.
Which I have like 4 Optimus Primes at this point. If I ever win the lottery, I'm going to have a horrible toy collection, and it's going to be stupid. Trying to think. Yeah, I've done nothing super exciting, though.
So I was going to ask you, do you agree with what Roosevelt said about the Republican and the Democratic Party? They're both corrupt, and he left and he formed his own party, the Bull Moose Party.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I don't. I mean, there's shades of gray to everything, but yeah, I am not someone who is firmly like left. I mean, if you go by left or right, I think like we don't talk about this a ton, but it comes up and it's kind of topical right now with everything going on. But yeah, I don't trust either major side. Like I don't think it's a good idea. Like from everything I know, like it's been talked about forever, having a 2-party system, which we basically have. We have other little ones, but like I'll send it to you. There's a picture of like the Libertarian Party getting like 1% of the popular vote, and it's the guy like kissing the woman and spraying the champagne, but it shows him as third place or whatever. Like there's not really a true third party or anything like that has any chance. Oh, are you there?
Yeah, I was sending you the logos for the Bull Moose Party. It's such a cool logo. I really hope they bring it back.
That'd be fun.
There's a big old moose. That's what I want.
I would like a Unicron party. That's platform is they are evil and want to destroy the planet, but they're super upfront about it and very nice.
Sure.
Like we have decided that we are going to blow half of California into the ocean. As concession, we're also going to remove all of Florida, just because that's about equal in population, and that's going to be the start. And if you don't fall in line, we're going to continue until, if need be, we're just going to have Wyoming left.
I believe we had one of those parties. It's called the Nazis.
Oh.
So.
Well, but this isn't going to target, like, one group. This is everybody. Like, they don't care. Like,
sure.
That way you know where you stand. Like, they don't think anyone is worth anything. But it's for everybody. I mean, it leaves...
Sure. Anyway,
I don't really want that, but I would be entertained by the idea.
Sure.
You think there'd be like a young person party? Like, oh, we're under 100. I'm exaggerating, but the like some kind of like young progressive party or something. Technology or
I work with a young kid, and you work with him too.
Yeah.
I don't want him in charge of the country.
Well, again, I know old people that I don't want in charge of the country as well. I mean, obviously,
sure.
you got to go through a filtering process to find the people that actually have a clue, or maybe not, because I don't think we do anyway. We should probably end this topic before we make everybody on every side mad. Let's see. But yeah, so trying to think. I wish I had like an exciting story for the week, but I really don't. I've watched like TV, I ate a hamburger, and that's about that.
Watched TV and ate a hamburger.
Yes. It was a good hamburger. We're going to talk about it actually. Actually, let's talk about it now. We're going to make a
we're going to do the food right now? Okay.
Yeah, we're going to do food. So, let me put a note here at 12
first
minutes.
Explain what we're doing now.
Yes. So we are adding, I don't know if it'll be weekly or all the time or whatever, but we're going to add a food segment to this show.
Since we always talk about food anyway.
Yeah, we talk about food a lot. Anytime we've done something with food, that has done better than any other show we've done, whether it's like YouTube stuff or the podcast, if it's like added in there. So we talk about it already. Now we're going to make it a thing and see what happens. And who knows, maybe one day this is going to be the Agony of Pastry podcast, because we've changed formats before and we're not afraid to do it again. So
Agony of Pastry, I like it.
And that was on the fly. I've been trying to think of different names that the AOP could stand for to go with pastry, because I don't know. The other idea would be to start like a solely food show, but I don't know about that either. That's something we'll have to talk about at some point and figure out if there's a different thing we want to do. But yeah, so for food, I don't have a bumper, so we're going to get the laugh. So that doesn't really fit anything, but I don't have anything that's really short at the moment. So you called it food, but the picture you sent me, that is not food. So I will let you tell people whatever this thing that you had is.
So yeah, I went to the store last night and we were just picking up random, I think milk and stuff. But anyway, I went down to there's the vegan section, and I was like, because I've been trying to eat healthier and everything. I was looking for a healthier snack, and they had these seaweed dips, and I was like, well, you know what? But I mean, I think it was like 75 cents or whatever. So I was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and buy them and try them out.
I think you overpaid, but
well, the thing is, they're not chips, so I will say it's kind of false marketing there.
Well,
at least the things I bought.
The picture says roasted seaweed snack with sea salt, and then I'll probably post it to the Twitter at the AOP podcast, or you can post it, whatever. A picture of this thing. Yeah. It is the least appetizing. Kale looks more appetizing to me than this thing.
It
looks like a tray. Now it could be color saturation for the simple picture that you sent. It looks like if you've ever seen a tray of burnt brownies where they're no longer edible. Except you know that it looks like that, but it's seaweed, so there's not even going to be a chocolate burnt taste.
So I mean, when I ate it, I don't know. It's weird. It's they're not chips. They're
Is it like a plank almost?
no, it's I mean, because it's more like cotton candy ish type. When you put it in your mouth, it just disintegrates.
Really?
Type thing. Yeah. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe I'll bring it in on Mondays and let you try one.
Oh,
I mean, they're not bad.
Oh, would you? That
bad.
would be fantastic. I would love to eat.
Like I said, they're not bad. I didn't throw up or anything about it. I don't know if I would sit around eating them as a snack and everything, but
well, if you bring it in, I'm going out later to the store. I might look for, if it's only 75 cents. I've dropped 75 cents before, so this probably isn't as bad as losing 75 cents.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it was very cheap because I wouldn't have bought it if it was really expensive.
If it was like, well, at Whole Foods, it's probably $35. So
sure. So yeah, if you go to like Kroger's or something, it's like 75 to maybe at the most $1, but yeah.
Right. I mean, considering I still have a Tijuana Mama that I need to, the hot version, that I need to hit with a meat tenderizer before I eat it and get up on the YouTube. But yeah, so what's the health, like, is there a health benefit to the seaweed snack? Because I've read, I'm going to use kale as the example because I looked into that some, where kale was like supposedly the superfood, but some of the more like higher end nutritionist people, when you actually look at stuff, it's not really what it's cracked up to be. Was the seaweed, you were just looking for something that wasn't a bag of Doritos? Like,
basically, yeah. I mean, I
something that you could snack on that,
basically,
even if it had 0 calorie, just something to keep you from eating junk.
Basically, yeah. I don't, because it has like 30 calories on it.
Okay. Have you, next time you go,
yeah,
they have, I don't know if they still do, but like, so Kroger's and a lot of stores have this. They had kind of over in the bakery section, they'd have like the racks where you could buy like the peanuts or the cashews, things like that. There is roasted edamame, and it's like a green bean. Like, it's a bean that is green, not like a green bean. But you can get it at like, if you go to like a Japanese, like a sushi place, a lot of times you can get like steamed edamame or whatever. Well, this was like a baked edamame that was dried out and doesn't have a ton of flavor to it, but it's a pretty high in protein snack that it doesn't have like a ton of carbs and stuff like that. It's mostly like a protein, so it's like eating like soybeans almost, that you can buy. Now it's a little bit more expensive, but you're actually getting like protein out of it. So if I'm out and I find it, I'll at least, I might pick one up because I haven't had it in a long time, but I'll send you a picture of it. But that'd be like, I was doing that because if I could do anything, I would do cashews. But peanuts, cashews, all that stuff, you have like a ton of calories in them. Like a lot of fats. Now, if you're going like keto, obviously, you kind of want the fats as opposed to some of the other stuff, but it'll run up on you. It's like trail mix. If you ever look at the calorie count on trail mix, you're like, oh man, this little pack of trail mix is like a third of what I can eat for the whole day if I'm trying to, if you're just going solely on calories, and it's horrifying. Stupid peanuts and chocolate and raisins being delicious. So will you be buying this again, or will you just be on a hunt for not potato chip snacks?
Yeah, I probably won't buy it again. I didn't really enjoy it. I mean, it was all right. I'm like, I told my wife, I'm like, this is kind of weird. She goes,
right?
Yeah. She likes sushi.
Yeah.
And she said it kind of reminds her of a California roll.
Right. Well, yeah, they do the seaweed wrap.
Yeah. So she's like, the only thing missing on it is the artificial shrimp cream cheese. So she said it was all right.
Yeah, the cream cheese is what makes the California roll good. Okay. Let's see. So I will follow up your seafood with my hamburger. Or not your seafood, your seaweed. So we talk an awful lot about cooking meat, where you like everything well done. Hamburgers, I have discovered, and I did it last night. So I'll buy a hamburger. Do you like a thick hamburger or a thin hamburger patty?
I kind of like the thin.
All right. So what I've been doing lately, and this has probably made my favorite hamburgers, is I actually will take some parchment paper. And so like last night, it was some crazy, like the food was about to be past the sell date. So I bought like the pre-made hamburger patties. But I'll actually take those, take like a big sheet of parchment paper and smash it out so it's as thin as I can possibly get it. And basically like mine, it'll get as thin as the pan. Like it fills the pan basically with just one patty, but it cooks down. And if your skillet or whatever you're using is hot, like now obviously this is like for pan frying, it's not going to work on a grill because it would probably fall through. It just wouldn't be able to support its own weight. But it gives like a super thin patty, cooks really fast, and I'll do you're still getting the same meat as the patty would have been. It's just thinner and covers more of the bun. Sometimes it'll overhang. I actually just used slices of bread last night because I forgot to buy hamburger buns. And
I can't do that.
What?
I have to have hamburger. I have to have hamburger buns in order for me to eat it.
So I assume I've heard other people that they just can't do. Now, what about a hot dog? Hot dog on bread?
Nope.
Has to be on a bun?
Hot dog bun.
What about hot dog no bun, just cut up?
No.
All right. Well, for me, growing up, we were not spending money very often on frivolous things like hamburger and hot dog buns. So It was, if I got hot dogs, it was like, hey, do you want them cut up or on bread? And
trust me, I also was in some similar situation, which is probably why I don't like it now. So.
Okay. I was thinking that your family was crazy and was like, oh, we'll buy buns. Because like Dad, and the thing is, I think, like we were forced poor, if that makes any sense. Where Dad was so particular about money, I'm gonna guess we could have afforded that, but he was super like certain things he was okay spending money on, and other things he wouldn't. But I mean, he paid off his house and had a pretty okay life. Nothing fancy. It was a very small house, but so it was one of those deals. And but yeah, so the cut up hot dogs though was the worst because it was you cut them up and then you get a side of ketchup. Yep. And you dip the cut up hot dog in ketchup. Yeah. So I don't know if you've ever. What's messed up is I will still do that nowadays every once in a while, where I'm like, what would be really good is I'm basically just eating a hot dog just drenched in ketchup. What it comes down to, and like because my wife seen me do it, she was like, "What are you doing?" And I never realized how insane that is because she doesn't eat hot dogs, but I don't think she's ever like an adult eating a cut up hot dog with ketchup is probably just ridiculous.
Well, see, my wife's the same way because we used to, I guess for a treat for us when we were a little bit poorer and everything, we would get macaroni and cheese with tuna.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I love that. And my wife, I'll make it for. She's like, "What do you want for dinner?" Macaroni and tuna sound. She goes, she goes, I don't know why you like that. I was like, I'm like, it's awesome. But yeah, she doesn't like it. But for whatever reason, it brings back memories. I don't know.
There's got to be, because there's like food or things that I want nothing to do with due to childhood memories. But other things are, because like the hamburger or the hot dog on bread. Would be like me and my grandma, like we'd be playing Atari. Like she was super into Joust was the game she played, but we'd play like the combat game. If you don't know what those games are on Atari, I'm not going to take the time to explain it because it doesn't really matter, but she was super into the video games. But yeah, played a ton of Joust, but so we'd stop playing combat or Joust or whatever it was, and that'd be like lunchtime where I'd get a couple hot dogs. It's like, all right, you want them on bread or you want them cut up? And I would usually split it, like one or two on bread, one or two cut up, and then we'd go back to playing games. So, But either way, so with the hamburgers mashed super thin in between the parchment paper, it covers a whole piece of bread, so you're not sitting there like trying to tear around it to not just eat like a big mouthful of bread. And then I've been doing just like a salt and pepper mix, which I think is pretty standard, but I put it on after the fact so that it doesn't go away in the skillet. Throw your cheese on it, and there you go. But something about the super thin patty, like, because you can stack like 3 patties, and it's actually something you can fit in your mouth, but you feel like you're eating like a ton of meat. So
sure.
And then, do you ever, like, if you make a burger at home, do you throw bacon on it or anything?
Every now and then, but my bacon has to be really, really crispy. So.
Yeah, I think we talked about this like 2 weeks ago, but I do the thick cut bacon, fold it in half, throw it in the skillet so you get crispy but a little bit soft still.
Okay.
I'm telling you, it's the correct way for bacon. It's horrible if you use more than like 2 pieces though, because since it's not crispy like you like it, if you don't really commit to biting through the bacon, you're just going to pull a big slab of bacon out and it'll just drip all over your face.
It's terrible.
Yes.
Crispy.
Yes. Well,
crispy is what you want.
I don't know. Now, I will buy... Do you ever buy the like the pre-cooked bacon where you just microwave it and it's heated up?
No, I don't buy that.
It's very wasteful. I'll say that for sure. But sometimes, because I'm so particular about the way I fry my bacon, I'm like, I'm just going to buy this pre-cooked bacon. That way, I don't have to clean a skillet.
I think I bought it once. It just reminded me of eating beef jerky. So I was like, man, I'm not buying that again.
Yeah, I've never had... I mean, it's horribly expensive for what you can buy actual bacon, but it's just so much quicker. Or, like, I'll make, like, ham turkey club sandwiches occasionally. And I'll just use that bacon because it's... Like, if you've ever been like, you know what I'd really like is a ham sandwich. But first, I want to spend about 15 minutes cooking some bacon to go on this sandwich. Like, not happening. So, in that case, I find the pre-cooked bacon is perfect.
It's funny. The only time I will eat ham, ham has to be, like, completely cooked. Like,
like if you buy, like, a ham steak or, like, even, like, sliced ham.
Yeah, like deli ham. I won't eat it. It has to be like cooked in a
like a honey baked ham or
no, like deli meat. Like you want to put on a sandwich.
Right.
My sandwich has to be
cooked.
My sandwich meat has to be cooked. I don't know why, but like honey baked ham, I hate it. So I'm weird. I don't understand it. I don't get why my mind works that way. But it does.
So I've heard of crazy people who do the fried bologna sandwich. So is it basically that with ham? Like you got to throw it in the skillet to heat it up, or can you microwave it?
No, I have to put it in the skillet to heat it up.
Now I'll do that with a ham steak, like where you get like that, not quite like a 1/4 inch thick, but like the fairly thick big round of ham or whatever. Like that, I'll usually I'll do that in like a skillet or toaster oven or something like that.
Yeah.
So then you only eat deli ham that you fry in the skillet. Or I'm assuming not fried, but you heat it in the skillet.
Basically, yeah. I warm it up. And
so microwaving is not an option. It has to be like a skillet or a pan?
Oh, no. It has to be in a pan. But like I said, actually like honey baked ham.
Yeah.
I will like where you like for like Christmas and stuff. I hate it. I can't eat it.
Really?
It's weird. Yeah.
So
I don't get it.
when you throw the ham, I'm trying to wrap my head around this because I have so many questions now. When you throw the ham in the skillet, is it just like a non-stick skillet, or are you using like butter or peanut oil?
Usually I use like a little bit of butter. Yeah.
Okay. That is.
Don't try to wrap your head around it because my wife tries to understand it too.
No, I could see using the butter because we used to try to use like different oils or margarines or whatever, but we were just like, you know what, we're just gonna start using butter to fry stuff. and it's been so much better. Now now for chicken, depending on what I'm doing, chicken I use peanut oil. So I'm either using butter or peanut oil when I'm frying, like when I'm cooking in a skillet now. So peanut oil though is more if I'm doing like a stir fry or whatever. Like I don't know, like there's a Chinese restaurant nearby that I like, and they always have that slight peanut taste. And one day, I'm not a smart man, so it took me a while to figure out that they were using peanut oil, but I figured out they were using peanut oil, and I was like, I'm going to start using peanut oil. And then Uncle Roger, he endorses peanut oil as well, so I feel like I made a correct decision all those years ago. Huh. Sure. So, how often do you eat a ham sandwich then? Like, pretty much never?
Yeah, not a lot. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you eat bologna sandwiches?
Only when my wife buys it.
Does it have to be a fried bologna sandwich?
It has to be really sliced thin bologna for me to eat it. Thick bologna slices, no. That's just
like the Oscar Mayer ones?
Yeah, I don't like it.
That's what I always had growing up. It was like cold bologna, mustard, and that was it. And then one day I ate the school cafeteria's bologna sandwich, and I've never eaten bologna since. And that was 3rd grade.
Yeah.
So
I think I had a similar, because my wife likes rice pudding. I had rice pudding when I was in 3rd grade.
Yeah.
At school. Never again would I eat rice pudding. I don't know what it did. Did something to me mentally. I will not eat it. It disgusts me.
I don't know. I don't think I've had rice pudding. I've had like bread pudding and corn pudding and all kinds of other weird puddings. But I don't know if I've had rice pudding.
No.
If we did, it was probably, I don't know. One day we'll have to do like a school food exclusive. But did your school have like food that you would never touch for $1 million?
Yes.
Like you'd get like the side of like, the one that comes to my mind is potato. Like they had a potato salad they would give you, and it was the most foul looking thing. Like I remember getting sick just looking at it once. So
because my wife is a school teacher, and she says school lunches have actually gotten worse. So
worse. What?
Well, because Michelle Obama put that eating healthy thing into the thing.
Yeah.
And she's like, all it is just processed food, nasty processed food.
Right.
So, yeah.
It was one of those things where the intent was good, but because of the way things get executed, it just went horribly wrong or something like that.
Well, I was like, so the whole plan was to eat healthier, and they're using processed foods. What's up with that? That doesn't make sense at all.
Right. That makes me think that there was a budget constraint that was not considered.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be my guess. Because the idea of healthier food, but the only thing, well, I'm going to save it. Like, because there's school food that I remember being like my favorite of all time. And then there's stuff where it was like, what are these carrot sticks? Like, we always got carrot sticks with pizza.
School pizza was pretty good back when we went to school. My wife says nowadays it's terrible. So,
well, do you want to just talk? Because I don't have a lot of other stuff to talk about. You want to talk about school food real quick?
Sure.
All right. Let me make a note here, because I think so. For us, where I went to school, pizza was always a hit. Like it was super good, to the point where there is one of the I don't know what to call it. It's like like the discount grocer that you can go to, where it's all the off-brand stuff, but they have like outdated stuff or whatever, but everything's pretty cheap. There was one of those. Like our school pizza was the square pizza, and you could actually buy the same ones that they made at the school at this place, and you could get like a 20-pack, and it was like $7. So I ate a ton of those. Like I would, honestly, talking about it, I almost kind of want to go get some if they still sell them, because they were awesome. Yeah. Was your guys' school, because you went to school kind of in our area here, right? So you weren't
well, because we moved around a lot when I was little, so I was all over the place.
So was all school pizza square, or?
Yep.
For like,
Yep.
I'm thinking more like elementary school. Once we got to high school, we'd have like the square pizza that you could get, but they'd also do mega slice pizza.
Okay.
So the mega slice pizza was pretty awesome.
Like I remember the Salisbury steak.
That was going to be my next one. You know what I hate about the school Salisbury steak?
What?
It ruins all other Salisbury steak for me because they had that weird translucent gravy.
Yep.
No real Salisbury steak has that poor quality of a gravy. And
yes.
So it's much like if you want crab rangoon, but you go to like P.F. Chang's and you get the fancy crab wontons, it's too high quality.
Mm-hmm.
I need super cheap, barely edible Salisbury steak patties with gravy and the mashed potatoes, like the school mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
They're
I like the cheeseburgers usually.
When trying to think. Now, were the schools you were in, were they the real burgers or were they the soy burgers?
I don't know. It might have been the soy burgers, maybe.
See,
I was a little kid. I mean, I couldn't really.
Right, for high school, they had like the cheeseburgers that you could get or the hamburgers, and they were awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And they were pretty reasonable. And I was fortunate in high school because I was, working, so I actually had money, so I could buy like 2 or 3 hamburgers, and it wasn't a big deal. And I found out they were the soy hamburgers. I was like, honestly, I don't care because these are really good. It's kind of like chicken McNuggets from McDonald's. Might not be the best chicken, but that's what you want, like that flavor. So yeah, in elementary school, I don't know if we ever had a hamburger. Like they did. You know what they did do that drove me crazy is did you guys have the hot dog on the piece of bread with a toothpick through it and cheese?
Yes.
That was instead of just wrapping the hot dog like a normal person would with a piece of bread, they did it like the catty corner, like corner to corner. So it just didn't make sense.
So I just sent you a link of school lunches throughout the world.
Yeah, I bet ours is going to be the absolute worst.
Dude,
let's see. So here we go. I'll do a play-by-play on this thing. So Italy.
Gotcha. Okay.
A variety of things. One of them, it looks to be sausage over rice. It looks like it. I don't know the size. I don't know the size of the tray.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming, portion-wise, America usually has higher portion amounts than other countries. That's just how we are. So, but it looks like breakfast sausage over rice, possibly like a big thing of cranberry sauce. I'm not sure what that is. Some kind of, I'm going to just guess that it might be like a cabbage or something like that. Like some kind of shredded something. And then it looks like bread with oats on it is one of them. Like, I'm looking at the top left. Where we're at is...
gotcha. I thought you were looking at Italy, like the main thing, but gotcha.
I'm looking at I'm looking at the very top one that just has some of these things.
Okay.
Let me go down. I'll go down to Italy in a second. But this thing has, like that top left one though, like school lunches around the world, that looks like bread with oats on it, right?
Yes, that's what it looks like,
yeah, let me scroll down to Italy. I thought the thing was below it, but the website we're at is boardpanda.com. Then you can do like /school food or search for it, something like that. Or you can just listen to us poorly describe things. So Italy's looks really good. I would eat that for lunch. So they have grapes, and by grapes, there's like 20 grapes at least on this thing. Like you actually get the stem with the grapes still attached. Let's see. Here, I'll read the description. But yeah, it says it's local fish on a bed of it's basically a bed of greens. So this looks like maybe, I don't know what local fish will be, so I just won't guess, but some kind of fish. It's like a pasta with tomato sauce, which is like looks really good. Yeah, like the rigatoni style. It's some form of salad. It looks like it's like the baby tomatoes and I assume that's lettuce with it, and then I'm assuming they have like an oil-based dressing or Italian dressing.
A baguette?
Yeah, like a chunk of baguette, and then they got the grapes. This looks like the super fancy frozen meals that you could get, almost.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, where you're like, oh man, the picture on the front of this frozen thing is amazing. Yeah. So, yeah, that looks really good. I would, at a minimum, I would eat the bread, the fish, the pasta, and the grapes.
Yeah.
I'd probably eat some of the greens that go with the fish, but it would depend.
Yeah.
But either way, yeah, it looks really good. So, let's see. We'll go to Finland. Are those beets? That's going to be beets.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Beet
this
salad.
one,
Yeah.
I would not really be that big of a fan of. It's got pea soup, but it's like a decent portion. You got like a beet salad, but it looks like, to me, it's just beets with maybe parsley in it. I don't know. A carrot salad, which would probably be pretty good. It's big chunks of carrot, bread, and a dessert pancake with berries.
Yes. Which is weird.
I mean, this would be good, but I don't know what the protein content in the pea soup is, but there's not really much protein there. So that would be my complaint with it. But, I mean, it looks like that'd be fine. Does it say at the top, like, they selected, like, an average meal, or... Let's see.
It doesn't say. I think it's probably just average.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious if this is, like, super private school food, or if this is, like, public school.
Well, if you go... I cheated and went down to USA. So it looks like it was just an average of what you get.
Okay.
Because when you look at the USA foods, like, yeah, okay, I see that.
Let me see here. So we got France, where you actually get a hunk of steak, green beans, kiwi fruit, potatoes, carrots. Brazil, I have no...
Brazil looks like you're just having a great old, like, dinner there.
Yeah, it's pork mixed with veggies, which looks pretty good. They got black beans and rice, which usually pretty good if you like that at all. I guess a generic salad, a hunk of bread, and some baked plantains, which are not the same as bananas. Let's see. South Korea, fish soup, no thanks. Tofu over rice, that can probably be pretty good. Some kimchi and some veggies. I like that they segregated the broccoli from the other veggies. like, all right. Like, I've actually grown to like broccoli as I got older. I don't know if it's because it's like the most mild vegetable you can get, but
I like broccoli.
Greece, short of them having like a gyro, this is the most stereotypical, like, this is what I would expect if you told me what would people from Greece eat. I'd be like, gyro, and then, like, not a gyro, I'd be like, all right, there's probably going to be this stuff. So you got baked chicken over orzo, which is, from a look standpoint, you're looking at rice, more or less. Stuffed grapes, stuffed grape leaves.
Leaves.
Yeah. So it's like the leaves are folded up. I don't know what they're stuffed with. Tomato and cucumber salad. I would absolutely not eat that. Fresh oranges. So it's two little oranges. So I would think like the cuties that we have here. And then they have Greek yogurt with pomegranate, which would be amazing. I'm a big fan of pomegranate. So looks pretty good. Ukraine is the one I was describing at the beginning. So okay, this picture is a little bit... It's mashed potatoes with sausage. I thought it was rice. But borscht, I don't know what that is. Cabbage and a dessert pancake is the breading thing. So I'm assuming the borscht is like a beet paste. I just assume other countries use beets all the time. I hate them. Have no place. Jeez, Pete. I'm going to be super hungry after this. And then when I see the United States one, I'm just going to be sad. I'm sure. We're almost there. Spain.
Yes.
Sauteed shrimp over brown rice and vegetables, which looks really good. Gazpacho, which is like a cold soup. You got your fresh peppers. I no care for that. Bread and an orange. All right.
But see, all this stuff right here, and so far everything I've seen, if I'm really hungry, I'm eating everything on probably, except for the beets. I probably would eat that.
Yeah.
But everything else, if I'm really hungry, I'm going to eat it.
Yeah, so. And then we get to the USA, and I feel, honestly, this picture is an upgrade from some of the stuff I've seen, because I have a lot of friends who are teachers as well. But you got a chocolate chip cookie, which I would argue the chocolate chip cookie compared to like these weird dessert pancakes is a fair trade. We got mashed potatoes, which is fine. Just peas. That's it. There's no mixed vegetables, no anything. It's just, here's some peas. Which I remember you'd get peas or you'd get peas, corn, or 2 carrot sticks.
Yep.
I don't remember any other vegetable options, and it was always just one. And then it's like the generic fruit cup, and then they picked fried popcorn chicken
but
with
it looks
barbecue
like it's
sauce.
Popcorn chicken, like you would get. I don't know. This looks like very generic.
This is like store brand popcorn chicken because you didn't want to buy the Tyson.
It does not look appetizing at all.
Yeah, and I think this is probably skewed a little bit to make us look bad. Like, I think that was the intent. But I honestly think this is better than what I, like, on average, like, when you take away pizza day, I imagine most people are like, we're probably the minority in loving the Salisbury steak from the school. I'd be curious to hear about that.
So when we went to school, though, it was the 80s. Now the Salisbury steak now, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, it could be. Now, did you guys ever have... So high school we had this. You could get mashed potatoes, but you could get chicken gravy, but it was like this neon green.
No. No, I don't. I would not eat anything. That sounds terrible.
Oh, it was
neon green gravy?
It was like this... It was a green, but it was like a greenish yellow, maybe. But it was a chicken gravy, but it was like super thick. Like, they just were like, how much flour? Just throw the bag in there. Whatever. And I remember I would buy French fries, and I would dip the French fries in the mashed potatoes and chicken gravy, and it was the best thing ever. But yeah, so the food in the other countries, I feel like that's what I would like order at a takeaway somewhere that was like not quite fast food, but not a sit down restaurant. But like this would be the kind of stuff that they would give me. What I wonder is, do people in these other countries that have like decent school food, do they ever sit around and have these conversations? Like, oh, do you remember this terrible food? Or is it like their food's actually decent, so it's not a big deal?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because man. And the thing is, like, this tray of the USA food, I remember we were paying like, let's see, so this would have been like mid 80s to late 80s, but it was like almost $2 for this plate of food.
You said $2? Yeah, that's how I remember it.
And you could only have, and everything, like, your drink option was white milk or chocolate milk.
Yep.
That was it.
Yep.
You know what chocolate milk doesn't really go with? Most food. White milk, same thing. It really, like, I'm never like, you know what would be really good with this pizza? Is a nice glass of milk.
You see, I don't think, I don't recall having any other options other than just milk.
Yeah, no, you couldn't even get water.
I mean, in elementary school, at least, you know. Yeah. I don't remember anything.
Yeah, once we got to like middle school and high school around here, at least, you could Hawaiian Punch. You had red Hawaiian Punch and blue Hawaiian Punch were your options, but otherwise you were getting milk. And then in high school, we had like soda machines that you could buy and take into the lunchroom, as long as they didn't see you with the soda in the lunchroom. Which was,
really? Yeah, see, my school,
we had some stupid rules. But fortunately, it was before the school shooting world, so I'm sure the rules are even stupider now. Because we could still have like a backpack, so you could just bring your own stuff in a backpack or whatever. But man, see, why wouldn't they pick like the school pizza is the iconic USA food. Like, I've never talked to someone who didn't mention that. So I feel like that. But then they would have showed like 2 carrot sticks or an orange, and that would have been your lunch. So
yes.
What was the worst school food that you had?
I think once I had chicken and dumplings. It was.
Did you guys do around Thanksgiving and Christmas the weird creamed turkey?
Yes. Yes.
I don't even know how to explain this. It was like they took turkey and put it in a blender.
Yeah.
And then they threw in the stuffing and the gravy.
Yep.
And they just pureed it.
Yep.
Like, it was awful.
I don't know what that was about.
Right. I remember I ate it one year and I thought it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was just awful every time after that.
Sure.
Let's see. The potato salad, I already mentioned, like, the potato salad was just disgusting where we were. Like, I won't eat potato salad to this day. Our macaroni and cheese had, like, a super crust on it. Like, on the top. Like, where, I guess it was like a baked macaroni and cheese. But I'm assuming they just threw, like, some macaroni down, and then they threw, like, Kraft singles on it or something, and then just baked it till it melted and stirred it. But you'd have this weird crust on it.
Yeah, the mac and cheese that we had in school, it was disgusting. Had to have been white people making it.
Who have no clue.
I'm sorry, white people cannot make mac and cheese. It's just terrible. It's just not good.
I find that you get a lot more again, seems to be a symptom that I have of bad food, where people try to put higher quality stuff with their food than you really need. Because for me, now I didn't eat macaroni and cheese due to the school macaroni and cheese. I was 28 or 30 at least before I ever ate mac and cheese again. Because my wife really likes the Kraft macaroni and cheese. And you put pepper on it, spirals, not elbows. The spirals is the way to go. And I was like, I'll give this a try. And it's not bad. But it's if I want Kraft macaroni and cheese, I don't want super fancy, we have 6 cheese macaroni and cheese. No, it's not good. Stop it.
Yep.
I don't think anybody wants that. The macaroni, and it was just like a big. Well, did all your schools, did they just use the ice cream scoop for everything for portion size?
Yes. Yes.
We're like, here's your scoop of pizza. What? Obviously, they didn't for like items like that. But if it was like pretty much anything, it just felt like when you see like the movies going through like the prison line, is basically them just scooping whatever it was into the little tray. It's like, man, this is freaking terrible. I started to say a different word, but just terrible. I don't think tomato soup and grilled cheese. Did you guys get that?
Yep, we got them.
That I actually liked.
That was all right. Yeah.
I mean, it's tomato soup and grilled cheese. It's hard to mess that up. So,
sure.
And then I'm sure there's all kinds of other stuff that I just didn't eat, but those were the big ones that stuck out. You'd get the occasional like taco, but it'd be the saddest taco on earth, where it was like the give it to charity portion of meat, like four strands of cheese, and then like a taco sauce that was probably just ketchup.
Yes.
And then, I don't know, our school never did anything international, thank goodness. But the last thing I will ask, did you guys have, like, for the schools you were in, was there pizza day? Like, Wednesday was always pizza day?
I thought with ours it was Friday, because, pizza is associated with
happy.
Friday.
So. Ours was always Wednesday, I think. Unless something went wrong, and then it would be like on a Thursday. But it was almost always Wednesday was pizza day.
That was your hump day food to get you over.
I guess. I packed a lot because I would get usually like 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but it was really just one because it was one piece of bread folded in half. Is what one sandwich was. So I'd have like 2 of those, and then like a small bag of Doritos and a thermos with chocolate milk, because the chocolate milk actually went with the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So like that was basically all. If I packed lunch, that's what I ate was peanut butter and jelly. But I don't know. Did you guys have lunch tickets where you could like pay $10 or whatever it was for the ticket and they just punch it each day?
Yep, we had that. Yep.
Did your teachers collect them, or like did you give them and like they would collect them and give them back to you at lunchtime, or did you actually have to keep up with them?
I'm gonna say I had to keep up with them.
We were not allowed to.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway.
Yeah, I think that'll conclude our food segment for the day. Man, school food in other countries looks awesome based on these pictures.
United States, man. It's the United States.
I mean, I don't know. I think France is probably the best looking one to me. France or Italy?
Yeah, I was going to say Italy.
And again, where we were looking is boardpanda.com, school food around the world. Now, this went with a campaign as well, so they might be, they might be picking the pizza day of the other countries, comparing it to our kind of chicken nugget day. So there's definitely some room for.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you want to move on to? Mandalorian? Well,
let's go to Mandalorian.
All right.
Shall we?
Pretend that I did the Mandalorian whistle thing for the bumper. Because I don't know. I feel like that's the kind of thing that would get flagged, but maybe not. But either way, here we are.
It's Disney. Who knows?
Right. We're just going to go into it here. Let me... 7. So, all right. So, as is right now, I have only seen the first episode of the new season. The second episode came out last night, but I have not seen that yet. So overall, I really liked season 2, episode 1. Like I was pleasantly surprised. What do you think?
Yeah, I really enjoyed. It was a good first episode for the start of a new season. Yeah.
Yes, and I think we talked when we were going over last season that I was worried, or my hope was that they were already filming season 2, because I didn't want them to ruin whatever ideas they had by listening to people.
Yes,
and that season 3 might be the real test to find out.
Yeah, agreed. Season 3 is usually when it goes downhill.
Yep. I'm thinking it's because at that point, that's when you get the people listening to outside ideas and they lose sight of what they were doing. Or the company that controls everything, like Disney, is like, okay, you guys can't use Mandalorians anymore. What?
Yes. Well, just like Big Bang. I love season 1 and 2 of Big Bang.
Yeah.
And then for whatever reason, like you said, they started listening to people. Let's make this Friends.
Right.
And it's like, no, this is about nerds liking nerdy things. It's not about being in relationships. But
yeah, shows do that a lot, where they decide to make it about that, and it's fine. Like, it's still funny, but it changes the dynamic of the show in a lot of cases.
Sure. Well, you lose the heart of what the show was about.
Yeah. So this one, hopefully, that we'll get at least 3 seasons out of this. But so before we get too much further, obviously there's going to be spoilers about episode 1, so you might want to skip ahead a bit. I don't know how long. That'll be in the notes when we go to the next segment of the show. But just fair warning that we're going to talk about everything that's going on in this episode. Not in great detail, because we're not good at that. But all right. So this episode definitely felt like a Western to me. Would you agree?
Yeah, and that's what I like. They're keeping with the Western theme.
Yeah.
And which is what makes the show interesting to me.
Right. Like, because not every episode is 100% Western, but this one, it felt they were like, it really felt like we're going to keep it simple. It's going to be a one-shot episode, basically, but we'll set some stuff up.
Well, being on Tatooine, very deserty, helps
Yes.
that too.
Well, that and again, like it seems like people do it with every episode of it. They'll be like, "Look at this old western that they just basically did a scene for scene for, but made it more modern." And it's like, well, yes, it's going to be real easy if you're going for a western that you're going to find something. Be like, they drew guns
Sure.
too, so.
Yes.
But I guess the big thing for this one is Mando is going to Tatooine. He's trying to find another Mandalorian he's heard about.
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll skip forward to the bar scene, I guess, where he's asking about it. And someone in Boba Fett, like 100% is Boba Fett's armor, comes walking into the bar. And you're like, well, this doesn't really fit this guy like Boba Fett, but he's definitely wearing the armor. And they have like the brief talk. And they're like, oh, let's have a drink or whatever. And then this guy, the title of the episode is The Marshal. So the guy who's the Marshal pulls the helmet off, which you immediately realize he's definitely not a Mandalorian, because he would not be taking his helmet off.
And Timothy, what's his name there? Timothy Oliphant, I think his name is. He is he's a great actor. I like him.
Yeah,
I
and
like
Cobb
Justified.
Vanth is the character's name.
What's his name?
Cobb Vanth is the character name, but yeah, you're right. It's Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I liked him in Justified. He did a good job in that.
Oh, is that what he was in?
Yep.
I knew I recognized him, and my wife recognized him from some other show that I've never heard of.
He looks very similar to the guy in Transformers. It's not the guy from Transformers though, as the soldier.
Yeah, no, I know who you're talking about.
That's all. I always confuse him with the guy from Transformers, but no.
Right, but yeah, so he is aware that because Mando here is a real Mandalorian, he's going to have a problem with him wearing the armor.
Yep.
So he's fully prepared to fight. So I don't know. What do you think of that scene? Like, I don't know. I'm a big Boba Fett fan, so I don't know how you are on it. What were your thoughts?
Was I excited that he's wearing the armor?
Like, to see the Boba Fett armor show up, that means there's going to be some kind of story about Boba Fett at some point.
Well, and I'm assuming the guy they keep showing off in the distance is Boba Fett. I assume.
That would be my guess, too. One of the things, I watched a couple people, like, Easter eggs or whatever. There's a scene that comes up where they're, like, sitting with the Tusken Raiders, where one of them is sitting, like, one of the Tuskens is sitting way far away from the rest of the group, kind of. And he's like, I think that is Boba Fett there, and he's just disguised as a Tusken Raider now.
Could be, yeah.
Which, I mean, that would be... Or they did it that way, so maybe they can retcon it that way. But, yeah, so he's getting ready to fight. There is a funny line. He's like, oh, you want to do this here in front of the kid? He's like, oh, yeah. He's seen worse. It, like, the brief, like, pause on his face when he says that is like, oh, great.
Yes. So, like Boba Fett he's a fake Mandalorian too, right?
Last I knew, he has the armor. Like, he has, I believe his armor isn't Beskar. It's like whatever you have before Beskar, I believe.
I thought the story of that was he stole it. Because he's not really a Mandalorian.
Right, he just has the armor because it's one of the best armors you can have. Which is true because it looks sweet. So
yeah.
But yeah, so they're like getting ready to like kind of square off because Mando's basically like shut down any other conversation. Then he has to get the armor off this guy because he isn't worthy of it. So the giant snake dragon. I'm not going to look up all the names for this stuff. So if you're sitting there screaming out of your mind, I know that it has a real name.
Star Wars name, yes.
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 But I'm not going to do that. So it like just comes through the town and eats one of the animals, and like that basically kind of stops everything. And you end up hearing the backstory of how he got a hold of Boba Fett's armor, like the mining group or whatever came in. he traded the Jawas for the gems that he stole from the invaders. And then basically the Mandalorian armor is, even the lower tier, is way OP, apparently.
Sure.
And it could be, because there's a scene where like he walks into the bar where these guys are basically set up shop, and like they are visibly frightened at the sight of the armor. Now I don't know if they recognize that as Boba Fett armor, or just in general a Mandalorian is someone they don't want to mess with. So either way, just the sight of the armor, one reason or another, they were worried, and then he just basically obliterates them, like quite literally, with the giant rocket on the back.
Yes.
Which they used the same sound effects from the movies. Like someone was showing that it was like almost the exact same style of a sound effect. And then, so, I mean, anything from that whole story of him, like, being, I guess, technically rescued by the Jawas?
I mean, I just thought it was a really neat explaining of how he got the armor and everything.
Right. Well, and at this point,
like you said, when he entered that bar, and like I almost kind of agree with you. Like they saw who was wearing, like they saw that was Boba Fett's armor, and I think that's why they.
Yeah, like they recognized Boba Fett more than it was a Mandalorian.
Yes.
Because I mean, either way it could go, because Mandalorians have quite the reputation.
Yeah. So either way, they knew that, like, oh crap, type thing. So.
Yeah, and then once we get the story of basically the armor has allowed him to help the town, and the way he plays that character, because at the beginning I was like, oh, this is going to end up being a good guy character, but he has Boba Fett's armor. It's going to be a hard sell for me to like this guy. But around this point,
I thought they were going to go with the point of he's going to be like a kind of a coward that uses the armor, but he's really not worthy of it.
Right.
I'm glad it did. I'm glad it didn't go that way.
Yeah, that was my fear, is that they were going to have this character that I just hate, and he's going to survive. Yeah. Like, because if it was a horrible character and they killed him, that's fine. But he ended up being like a likable character, so it's like, oh, well, he took Boba Fett, who theoretically is a bad guy, kind of. But he's using it for a good purpose. I actually started to question at this point. I was like, is Mando going to let him keep this armor?
Yeah, I
like
questioned
that was that's when that came up to me, because they basically strike a deal that he'd be willing to give Mando the armor if he'd help them kill the dragon, basically.
Yeah.
Which shows that, again, it's one of those things where Mando obviously probably could have taken this guy if they fought without much issue, but he was willing to help them out. So my assumption would have to be he saw that, he wasn't a bad person, and he was using the armor for an honorable reason, I guess. So he was willing to avoid
Mando
killing
has
him.
A code about him.
Yeah, like he was still his mission at that point was to get the armor, but he was willing to help out a little bit to get there. And then there's this whole thing with old Mr. Cobb does not like Tusken Raiders because they have pillaged their village a couple times, is what I took away from it. And Mando's trying to explain to him that yes, they are kind of savage and they will do that, but they're doing what they need to survive just the same as them. And he's trying to play like a peacemaker.
Well, like Mando said, he's like, you killed some of their men too. So he's like, it kind of balances it out type thing. Right.
But then he eventually explains that even though they are kind of savage, they're people of their word. So
yeah, they have a code about them too.
Yeah. Which comes down to basically they won't attack you guys anymore if you don't mess with them. But if you do, all bets are off.
Yep.
And then there's there's a few scenes showing like the tension between the townspeople and the Tusken Raiders. Because they tried to do it with just, like, basically Mando and Van went with the Tusken Raiders and kind of tried to kill this thing. And it did not go good. So the Tusken Raiders in a hilarious scene have, like, a skeleton that they're using of the cave dragon thing with, like, rocks representing the people. He's like, well, that can't be to scale. And then Mando asks them about it. He's like, yeah, it's to scale. And he's just, like, blown away by it. But we find out that the most likely way to defeat this creature is its underbelly is what is the weakness. Because the cave people have studied it for however long. Let's see. Did you know someone was playing it, like, when you were in, I think it was A New Hope, where Obi-Wan makes basically, like, the animal noise to frighten the Tusken Raiders? Like, that's basically, they use something very close to that sound for this creature. So they kept that going, which is good. But, so moving forward, we get, like, the tension between the Raiders and the townspeople. But it seems more so the townspeople are, like, super hair trigger than the Tusken Raiders are.
Yeah, pretty much.
But, I mean, they're wearing the masks and everything, so you can't really tell. I think the story is more to show, like, the townspeople are possibly more the problem in that relationship than the Tusken Raiders were.
Yeah.
Let's see. Like, there's little things here and there that go on. Because we kind of skipped the beginning part where he goes into the fighting arena.
Yeah.
But
that was just leading him to Tatooine.
Yeah, like, that's where the episode starts. Other than you get to see, like, the crazy rockets that like the Stinger style rockets, all those that he shoots out, and then the child, like, looking around and then closing the orb that he's in, I thought was pretty funny. Yeah. So
so when they teamed up, and they both were fighting the dragon, I thought that was a pretty cool scene.
Yeah, that whole thing was done really well, where they're, like, basically they've laid all these explosives and they're trying to lure it out so they can blow up its stomach, which will hopefully kill it. And that doesn't really go as planned at all. So,
which you kind of knew. You kind of knew that was going to happen.
Yeah. Well, like, pretty much everything falls apart. It turns into, like, just, honestly, it's a lot like a World of Warcraft raid. If anyone's played, like, a raid boss kind of thing in any MMO, once, a healer drops, the tank drops, it becomes chaos. That's 100% what happens here. Is just everybody's running around. Nobody's remembering mechanics to the fight. Like, all planning went out the window, but you're still, like, trying to hit the creature or the boss, hoping that somehow you're going to kill it, but you're not. It's just panic. And
well, what I was afraid of was, I thought they were going to go with the marshal was going to sacrifice himself, and I thought he was going to die. I was like, no, because I kind of like this guy, but thank God they didn't go that route.
That actually did not cross my mind at all.
Really?
During this, nope. Somehow I was pretty confident that he was going to make it out alive. Although him being eaten by it but still killing it does lead to actual Boba Fett getting his armor back easier.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like, I could see if I would have been thinking about that. But basically, Mando and Vent, they fly around with their jetpacks, and they really don't know what they're going to do since the initial blow him up thing didn't work. And they kind of foreshadow a little bit here and there, but you can tell that Mando's plan now is they have one of the beasts with all the bombs on it. He gets the detonator from Cobb, and he's clearly going to try to blow it up from the inside. Now, something that's interesting about this is they're both standing there, and I was like, well, what are we going to do? And he was like, I don't know, but wish me luck. And he takes, like, the blaster that he's got and hits the jetpack, which is basically exactly what happened to Boba Fett.
Yes.
Except this just sends him flying and he lands safely. But so Mando's clearly saving him.
But I don't know if Boba Fett has a faulty jetpack. Because like you said, Han Solo did the exact same thing to him. And he just goes flying. So I just think it's funny.
Yeah, no, I think there's a flaw in the design of that particular jetpack. Or it's a known issue, but that's just how you make jetpacks or something.
Sure.
Like that, I can't tell. But yeah, so Mando ends up getting the thing to eat him and the beast.
Yeah.
And basically, he blows it up, but he comes flying out of it. So I was reading something like, because Fett's armor obviously wasn't digested by the Sarlacc. So same thing, his armor probably makes it a little more durable for the digestive inside of this dragon creature. But he blows it and it rips the thing in half. And then the Tusken Raiders are excited because that's the only thing they wanted, was to be able to harvest the meat and try to find the pearls inside it. Which they find in the most stereotypical way possible for a Tusken Raider. They hold it above their heads and cheer. Because apparently that's what they do constantly, is they raise things above their head and just yell.
Yes.
Whether it's celebrating shooting a pod racer or whatever.
Yes.
So this episode, like, they get that taken care of. To the best of my knowledge, Baby Yoda doesn't force anything this episode.
Yeah.
Unless we find out later that he did. Maybe he did, and I just don't remember that part. But
I don't remember him doing anything like that. So
yeah, so Mando does take the armor at the end, and then, which is fine because I don't think they need it anymore. Like, he doesn't need it anymore. Cobb, that is. But they leave him as a good, solid character that's like an ally and a good guy, I would say.
Basically, for someone to help him team up probably at the end of the season.
Right, which is fine. Like, that worked pretty good last time. But
as long as they don't kill, because I kind of like the robot towards the end. They killed the robot at the end. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I think they had to do that, though, for him to not hate the droids.
Yeah.
Like, he saw that they can be good. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like for this guy not to get killed, because he ended up being a very likable character. But at first I was super worried. I was like, it's going to be really easy for me to not like this character no matter what they do. But they played it in a way that made him like a good guy that you can actually root for. So what we don't know is we're going to get a series coming soon called The Marshal.
I can see that.
It would be better than the movies.
End of this. The Mandalorian is better than any of the movies. I'm sorry, the new movies, just because it's, I don't know, better story.
Yeah. So now at the end, that's where we see the mysterious person that we assume is Fett. So for me, like, I'm super excited because somehow it makes me assume that he is going to become a character in this show at some point, or get his own movie or something. Like, they're clearly alluding to Boba Fett still being alive. And Disney likes money.
Because they didn't show his face, but in the first season, he helped untie that one. Did he help that one assassin that...
we assume it because they had... I forget what happened, but they did the like the spur sound.
Yeah. Which
goes back to being like a Boba Fett sound effect or whatever. So everyone just assumes that that's what's going on.
Gotcha.
But the same thing happened here. So it would make sense.
The only thing that makes me, I was kind of wanting, I know they won't do it, but to put Obi-Wan in here, that would have been awesome.
Like, just hanging out, because this is after all that. So as like a Force ghost, or he's still alive somehow?
No, it's not. So this is he dies in
New Hope. Well, he peace outs
This is
in
true.
New Hope.
Sorry. So Star Wars has confused me where they're at in the storyline. Yeah, so this is after Luke blew up the
second Death Star.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're correct. Yeah, so Obi-Wan's dead. Sorry.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I would love to see Obi-Wan. I kind of hope
apparently they are working on a movie, or not a movie, but a TV
show
series on.
It could be
Disney,
good.
So.
Or
they're bringing back what's his face as the
McGregor.
Apparently, according to the rumors.
That would be good.
I don't know what you could do with it though. To be honest with you.
I mean, because he could go on
his storyline
adventures.
is he stays on Tatooine to protect Luke. So it means it's be him on Tatooine protecting Luke. So I don't know.
It's going to be him and the Tusken Raiders just doing weird stuff. Like they'll make it a sitcom.
Yes, it'd be like Obi-Wan and basically the Dark Order.
Yes,
just doing their.
That would be fantastic. But yeah, so
yes.
Now I haven't seen episode 2 yet, but you enjoyed it.
It's not as good as this one.
Right. This one was really good.
I would say out of all of the Mandalorian episodes, even from season 1, I would say it's probably the worst. Yes.
Right.
There's some neat things that happen in there, but it's one of those. It's a throwaway.
Yeah, like I'm assuming it's building up for the 3rd episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Well, and the thing is with the Mandalorian.
Well, okay.
The episodes are all pretty good. So you're eventually going to have where it's like, if I hadn't seen anything else, this might be a great episode. But comparing it to some of the other ones, it's going to be hard to live up to that.
Well, now, I say it's a throwaway episode, but who knows? There's something that happened in there could lead on to episode 5. You know,
right.
Oh, okay, that's why they did that. So who knows?
Yeah, because you just don't know now. And we can't binge watch it, so...
Yeah.
Which I almost kind of like that you have the time in between episodes to think about them.
Yeah, it's definitely a plus and negative, I'd say.
I mean, the negative is like, I want to see the next episode. But the plus is you have time to savor it.
True.
Although I am very impatient. Like, if I had the option to watch them all at once, I would. But
100%.
Yeah, like, because it's actually good. But I don't know. I wonder if we'll see more,
well,
like, because we've seen a
Netflix.
little bit more of that, right? Where, like, shows are releasing, like, 1 episode a week as opposed to just, here's the season, go to town.
Well, because Netflix did that with Daredevil. I would spend the entire weekend watching all the Daredevils. So.
Yeah, I didn't watch it until after it was all out, so I powered through fairly quickly on that one.
Oh, so you powered through, like, 3 seasons then, right?
No, I did season 1 pretty much in a short time span, and then season 2, and then I never watched season 3.
Really?
Nope, I still need to, but I was confused with Elektra because
I think the creator of Elektra was the same way.
Yeah,
because he said that character was meant to just die.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and then they realized that maybe that was a bad idea, so the show might be correcting some things. But
I think the creator, though, was like, no, that character was supposed to die. Because I think that's one of the things I think he had, like, a big problem with that. He's like, no, that character, it's not meant to come back. So, who knows?
That's why they brought him back anyway.
Sure. So, just because you wrote the character don't mean you know anything about the character.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, sure.
Again, unless you're Uncle Ben or Thomas and Martha Wayne, you don't stay dead.
Yes.
I'm sure there's a few other people, but all right. Do you want to finish up? We don't have a ton of time, but go to some wrestling stuff real quick.
But we could, but like you said, we've been talking for a while. I don't think we would do it justice, but maybe it's up to you.
Let's make some predictions for the upcoming thing. Let me do. I gotta find their events and try to find their card. Important info for AEW Full Gear for fans attending live. How about give me the card? WWE does this too, where you can never find like the card
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Yeah, like there'll be like one or two matches, but then it's like, well, what else is going on? Like, I kind of know. All right, let me hit our thing here.
Why did Britt take her shoe off to eat that sandwich?
All right, I just used the Brit shoe, so we're back. Title match. So, in short, you've been pretty let down with a large portion of the storytelling lately, and it has turned you off some.
A little bit. I'm just saying. Right now, I'm just like, eh.
Right, waiting to see what they do next.
Yeah, type thing.
Which is fair, because there's some
them or anything.
Right. There's some weird stuff going on, though, for sure. I can understand that. We briefly talked before the show. I've watched WWE stuff for so long that my expectations are lowered. So it's like an abusive... Because, like, the Roman Reigns storyline currently,
yes,
I'm pretty sure that's one of the greatest stories I've ever seen. But it might not be. It might just be that it's so much better than what I expected from them that it's okay. It feels good.
I would have to say, as far as wrestling that I've seen, at least now, as a kid, I enjoyed it more. But like for right now, I'd say the Roman Reigns storyline is probably the best thing going right now.
I would be hard pressed to argue that. I could, but not very well. Like if it's not the best, it's got to be tied, I think. Now again, they could ruin that by the end of next week.
Agreed.
Like, absolutely possible. Jey Uso is gonna have to start dancing or something. Roman will.
You need to dance more. That's what's missing in his gimmick, dancing.
You're like, Roman, you guys used to paint your faces and do that, except this time it's going to be the Charleston.
Yes.
But so either way, so we'll make our predictions. We'll probably be wrong on every case here. I'm going to start from the top. So I just went to CBS Sports. I pulled it up. So the title match, we got Moxley and Kingston in an I Quit match.
Yeah.
Do you think there is any chance of Jon Moxley losing this match?
He shouldn't. I mean, I've wanted him to lose before this. If he loses to Eddie Kingston
in an I Quit match?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
The only thing I could see happening for Kingston to somehow win is because he's told Moxley he'd have to kill him to get him to say I quit.
Yeah.
Is that it really gets to that point, and because Moxley considered him a friend at one time, he actually quits to not kill Eddie. Like, that's the only thing I could see happening. I don't think that's going to be the case, but that's the only fantasy booking scenario I could even come up with that makes sense.
I don't know how they get to it, but Moxley wins.
Yeah, I assume that it's just as simple as he makes Kingston say I quit, but if I'm trying to come up with a way for it, like, it's got to be something really weird to get Moxley to quit for some reason. All right.
Yep.
We got FTR against the Young Bucks with Matt Jackson with his partially torn MCL.
Yeah.
Young Bucks for whatever reason, if they don't win it, they'll never challenge for the tag titles again.
Yep.
I have to assume they're going to win, right?
I would say, so here's what I want, and I think FTR should win.
Yeah.
And the reason I think how you could get away with them saying that, they'll never get another title shot is you just go the heel route and say, well, okay, we lied, type thing.
Like, that was just us saying it. It wasn't an official anything.
Yeah. To make them just be this cowardly type
thing. We're like, Cody keeps his word on it, but the Young Bucks are like, no. Or like something funny happens where they feel that it's not fair, whereas Cody just took it.
The problem is they're both heels. And Cody has this weird obsession, and I hope this is not the thing they're doing in AEW. Oh, there's no such thing as heels and faces and wrestling. Yes, there's always any kind of story.
There's someone that you're rooting for.
I'm sorry. It's just you can't change that.
I mean, you can try, but there's always going to be someone who's kind of right in the situation. Because,
I mean, if you have a character that goes, "Oh, I'm a good guy this week. I'm a bad guy this week," then you're like the Big Show. where you can never trust them because you're like, well, okay, is he going to turn on them or is you know what I'm saying?
Well, much like Will Hobbs should probably join Team Taz because his two allies are maniacs, Darby Allin and Moxley. Moxley, you don't know what he's going to do. Darby Allin might be broken because he jumped off a bridge.
Well, and that's what I don't understand with that whole storyline. It's like, why wouldn't Will Hobbs join? I mean, you need to give me more information of like why he wants to be not part of that team.
Well, because they jumped him and they're bullies. He doesn't like bullies. I'm simplifying it, but that's how I take it.
Has he said that?
I mean, I'm just reading between the lines that he has backed people up when they were getting attacked blindsided or whatever. Gotcha. So that makes me think that he has typical good guy traits. So
sure.
Again, it's not been that I'm aware of. It's not been 100% said, but just from his presentation, that's why I assume that he's involved that way. Plus, again, they were going to beat him up if he didn't join Team Taz. So
sure,
we'll see. But yeah, so you're thinking FTR. I'm thinking, you would want FTR, and then the Bucks just finally 100% heel.
I think it hurts FTR if they lose. I
would agree, especially with Matt Jackson being legitimately injured and storyline injured. So, what do you? Yeah, I just don't understand it. But yeah, them losing and them being heels and they're like, yeah, we can do what we want. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So, all right, Cody against Darby. I have to pick Darby in this match. I don't know. I assume this is one of the ones that drives you crazy from a storytelling standpoint.
It's terrible to me.
This is Darby's fourth match, I think, with Cody.
The whole storyline is just jumbled because Cody. I think it would have been a better story if Cody work his way all the way back up to challenging Brody Lee and fighting Brody Lee at this pay-per-view instead of coming back. I don't know.
Right. Well, I wonder because we haven't seen Mr. Brody since.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he had an injury that he needed time off for. So they did it that. I don't know what went on with that, but yeah, I would agree. It seems like it would have made more sense to him be at the back of the line.
Yep.
But do you think Cody wins this match though, or do you think Darby?
I think Cody wins it.
All right, I'm going with Darby. I just can't imagine. Again, unless there's an alignment shift as a result of the loss, all of a sudden Darby's all right, I'm joining Team Taz, which would be weird.
Yes.
The world title eliminator, we got Kenny and Hangman.
Yeah.
I want Hangman to win, but I think the story is Kenny wins.
Kenny should win, yes.
Yeah. Because would you assume, I think this is what a lot of people think, and it makes sense to me, is Kenny's going to be the one to take the belt off Moxley, go on a cleaner run, and Hangman will be the one to eventually take it from him?
Yep.
I mean, I think that's what everybody wants to see, and I think that would be a good story. But we're also going to have Hangman at rock bottom during this. All right, moving on. Sheeta and Nyla Rose.
Don't care.
Yeah, I'm baffled by this one. All the stuff that matters with the women's division is not the title, which is weird in a way. I'm gonna pick Nyla, but I don't know. All right, Jericho MJF.
MJF.
You think?
I think he should.
Well, do you think he wins just a straight up one-on-one match, or Inner Circle turns on Jericho?
One-on-one, I think.
Okay. I'm gonna go because you got Sammy hanging out at Matt Hardy's house, so he won't be there.
Yeah.
So I think Inner Circle turns on Jericho. But MJF wins. Because we've talked about before, we think like Jericho and Sammy are going to end up being a team somehow out of this.
Yeah.
And that would be the way for it to happen.
Yeah,
so
I can see that
I'll
too.
go with that. And that brings us to Matt Hardy against Sammy. Do you think they both make it out in one piece? Like for real. Not like in storyline, but no one dies.
Since it's going to be an edited camera, yes, I hope that everyone comes out okay.
And we can never have this match again, and I won't have to worry.
Yes.
They're doing... I don't know if you have any interest in this. On the buy-in, or it's actually on the pay-per-view now, Orange Cassidy against John Silver.
Yeah.
Do you have a pick or any expectations? I think it's going to be a comedy match, but I think it's going to be fantastic.
I think John Silver should win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Johnny Hungy.
Just because he's funny. Just because I like him.
Right. For Silver, so we talk about this a lot. That is the exact style of comedy that I hate for the most part.
Okay.
Like it's the Jim Carrey, Chris Farley over the top stuff. But for some reason, I don't hate it when John Silver's doing it. Like on Being the Elite. Like it works for me. The Dynamite version is obviously a little bit toned down from how insane it is. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Like for some reason, I'm really digging that character. So... But yeah, I would like to see Silver win. I would understand Cassidy getting some vengeance, though, since Silver has cost him multiple times. But
yeah.
All right. And then they got the buy-in Serena Deeb against Allison Kay. I'm just going to assume that Serena is going to win since she's the NWA Women's Champion.
I assume as well, yes.
All right. So I think we can call it there. So yeah. The end. Anything to add?
We're back to normal schedule, hopefully.
Hopefully so. So, all right. Well, I will outro us at the AOP podcast on Twitter. It's a picture of our logo for the picture, so you'll know it's us. And it'll have links to shows and stuff. There you go. Or you can go to agonyofpositivity.com.
Yep.
Outro.